You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
In this episode, I'm back home. Everything's just as it should be. There are so many collectibles behind me. Brandon dancing. It's Apathetic Enthusiasm. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, what's
You
up?
look
dude?
like you're going hunting.
I know. I look like I'm. Hey, everybody! This Apathetic Enthusiasm. I'm Brandon. That's my partner in crime, Travis.
Hey, everybody.
And we're gonna have a good show for you today. We're changing things up a little bit. The thing about Apathetic Enthusiasm, we've been around a long time, and what we've always talked about is what is our niche.
Yeah, what makes us special?
What makes us special? And I tell you what it is that we do is we're adaptable, just like Darwin, who was wrong about evolution. First of all,
Oh, jeez. What a... Yeah, I'm gonna cut the bit right there.
all right. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Apathetic Enthusiasm. I am of course, Brandon.
Of course, Travis. Welcome to the show. If it's your first time here, Brandon and I, we make podcasts. We make all kinds of podcasts. This one, we just talk about stuff. We talk about the stuff we're doing. We talk about stuff in the news, and just movies, TV shows, anything that we've been watching, playing, or interacting with. So if you like that kind of content, we're glad you're here. You can follow us all over the social internet, over on Twitter at Apathusiast. I am at Jogomino. He is at Barnyard Cruise. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm Show. Send us an email, apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, apathetic_enthusiasm. I feel like we should be more engaged on that platform specifically. On the gram.
Yeah.
It's a personal note for myself. Go to our website, apatheticenthusiasm.com. You can, or not. It's your call. We have video versions of the podcast. If you prefer to see Brandon's new hat, you can see that at youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm. And a special.
That's my new bit. That's my new bit. Is
having new hats.
Just start buying so many new hats for the podcast, like forcing anybody to go on.
You're just trying to drive traffic to the YouTube, and then they see the hat, and then they're like, "All right, I'll click off of this now."
Yeah, this hat sucks. This show sucks. Why would I ever look for this?
Why
hat?
am I watching this? Yeah, if you want to support the show and help Brandon to be able to afford more hats, you can go to patreon.com/apathetic enthusiasm. A special shout out to Astrid Garcia. Thank you, a new patron over at patreon.com. Thank you so much for your donations. If you only listen to interdimensional RSS, this is awkward. But we'll shout you out in the Patreon only post shows, which you can only see at patreon.com.
Dedicated to you, Astrid.
Yeah, it's
Dedicated to you.
It's all for you. I'm back at home in a controlled environment.
Well, Travis, I'm glad you brought it up, because for those who are listening to the audio, those who are watching video, what you might not notice is when I interrupt Travis when he is making a segue, there's not a delay in between my interruption and then talking over him as my video catches up to where he is. Instead, it's almost instantaneous.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Those ones and zeros are flying through those series of tubes we call the internet on my dedicated fiber network that I have at home, that I was severely lacking in the hotel I was staying in.
What's crazy in a sense, you came home this last weekend and I upgraded some of my technology in my own house, because I was using the Eero 5, I don't know, some Eero network mesh for my house, and it's pretty good, but the Eero app is kind of limited in some way unless you're subscribing to the premium features. And the thing is my kid's Xbox One is in the bedroom, and anytime he's downloading a new game or playing online, it's just he's getting such shitty internet. And I'm like, damn it, I want to be able to play games with him more often online in the same house. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to move away from the Eros. So I actually upgraded to a Wi-Fi 6 Republic of Gamers Asus gaming network mesh. And so my house is not that big. I really don't need that. But I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm going to share my internet with a whole neighborhood.
And now my internet it's great. It's great. Until it doesn't work anymore, and I apologize ahead of time for all our listeners and viewers.
Fans of the show, go ahead and post your comment right now on the YouTube. At what point in this episode do you think Brandon will freeze? If you can properly guess the timestamp, we'll send you a button. Yeah,
a button or something. I don't know. We'll send you
I have a whole bag full of interdimensional RSS buttons. We can send you one.
We should take
yeah. But it's good to be home. It's nice to be back. It's weird when you're away from home for a while. I was gone at like over a month. It's little things that you like forget about or that you take for granted.
Your kids.
Yeah. I guess family and kids are cool. They're great. But I was missing them, right? Like when I was gone, I was still missing them. What I wasn't thinking about was like high thread count sheets. Like the hotel I was staying at did not have the best bedding. And so I got home and the first night I'm waking up and I'm like, what is this soft, luxurious like bed that I'm sleeping in that I slept so soundly and peacefully, except for my dog that missed me that was like leaning up against me all night.
Gonna puppy.
Oh, you're gonna. But yeah, like that, or I don't know. Your bidet, that's the thing you might miss.
Do you have a bidet? Do you have a bidet?
Every bathroom.
Really?
That's right. I am firmly in the middle class.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. My bathrooms aren't big enough for a bidet, I think is the problem.
False.
No, because we have a couple bidets. We have a couple bidets in storage, because after we moved, we kept the bidets, in their natural state, and we put some
manufactured. Like, what is the natural
no,
state?
No,
of the bidet?
like used. Like why clean them? That's flavor. No, anyway, so we did bring we do have a couple of them. No, actually, we only have one.
You're just talking about the like modification that you can like put on your toilet.
Our bathroom is for the bidet that we have. It's too small. Because like
you're in there tight. Like you can't throw any bows is what you're saying when you're dropping a deuce.
Right. When you squeeze, you're basically like holding on to the shower. Across the sink. Yeah. So instead,
there's really not like 3 inches of clearance on either side of your toilet. That seems like
legit. No.
That seems like a plumber's nightmare.
Well, that's why we don't call any plumbers. We just let the water flow as it does. We don't have a subfloor, right? We're not on a foundation. We're on a raised foundation, and so like whenever we flush, it just goes into our
it just falls into the crawl space.
Yeah,
we let nature take care of it.
The clay absorbs it.
It's the California way, as they say. With water being such an issue, it's good to just get it right back into the earth.
That's right.
And hopefully, this is disgusting.
Thanks,
anyway, it's good to be home. It's good to be home, I think, is the moral of that story.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you're back. I joke about the internet, but I mean, I know how it is with crappy internet and recording. You know how it is. It makes the experience between us so much better when we're in consistent states of relative high speed internet.
Yes. Yes.
Because we can talk and we can interact and although the last couple weeks we've done okay shows, right? Our 250th, our
Yeah.
251st, 252nd, they were okay, but now we can actually react to each other.
Yeah. I have two monitors in front of me. I have the I was working with this terrible like laptop television combination in the hotel.
Classic.
That television was so I feel like all this podcast is me complaining about that hotel room. But that the TV, the color was really bad on it. So like when I would move windows from my laptop screen to the television, I was like, "Oh, like is that what the color looks like?" Like, and I would be trying to adjust lighting in the room for like the Zoom call and stuff, and then I'd be like, "Oh wait," and I look at OBS on my laptop and be like, "Oh no, I look fine." It's just a terrible television.
The TVs in those places are basically like the 2008 Black Friday deals that they're like, we can save a bunch of money on a TV.
Let's buy 400 of these.
Like, these are the ones we're just trying to get rid of. Man, what a steal of a deal.
What a steal of a deal. Yeah, I had an 11.5 hour drive to get home. Did it all in one stretch safely.
Mm-hmm.
I only stopped for one restroom break.
Okay.
So an 11.5 hour drive,
Yeah.
I stopped once, and at that one stop, I got gas, I relieved myself, and I got food. And then I was like,
in that order.
Gas, yeah, in that order.
Okay.
I don't recommend the fried chicken from the Love's truck stop off I-40 in like Arkansas.
Would not do it. Would not do it. 10 out of 10. Not again.
1.5 stars. not great. And then I thought, because when I drove out there, I did it on 2 tanks of gas. I only had to stop for gas once. I wonder if because I was traveling westbound, I wonder if I was driving into a headwind, because I had to stop a second time for gas. Otherwise, I would have plowed right through that.
Westbound to town, load them up and truck them. They gonna do what they say can't be done.
That's what we're gonna do.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry
Lewis.
Jerry
Reed.
Lewis?
Sorry.
Jerry Lewis.
Wrong musician.
But yeah, so I made it home. I was exhausted, but it was great to be back. And then had a pretty enjoyable weekend. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, I want to ask you, like, what'd you do with the family when you got home?
I got home at almost midnight, and almost everybody stayed up. My youngest was passed out. I went in and like went to her room and like tried to wake her up, and she said something to me. Has no recollection of the interaction at all. My wife baked a cake that said "We missed you" on it. So we ate cake at midnight, and then my kids were like, "All right, I'm going to bed." They ate cake and then went to sleep.
That's like New Year's. That's like New Year's Eve. Like, we made it. Okay, now we all go to sleep.
All right, Dad's home. We ate the cake. I'm out. I'm going to bed. They bought me gifts, which is like unnecessary.
Yeah, you can.
But I appreciate it.
You can Google images for any gifts.
Yeah.
Why would you buy them?
Yeah, they just got me moving image files.
Of Homer going into the bush over and over again. Huh? Oh! It's recognizing my hand, Travis. It's recognizing my hand.
Oh, it is. Yes, Brandon, you have a question. That portion of the Zoom call is cropped out, so I can't see it in the. But they got me a Lego set, Brandon.
What Lego set?
It's the Disney 100 Lego set. Is it like
the camera?
It's the Walt Disney Tribute camera.
That one.
So I'll pull it up here for.
It's like the camera, like the old school camera.
Yeah, because I have the ability to do this again, because of well, I think I have the ability to do this. All right, my Stream Deck isn't working.
I know what you're talking about. If it helps, it's like Steamboat Willie, old
yeah,
school.
it's like an old timey camera, like a film camera, movie camera, and it's got like a film reel with a bunch of classic Disney films in the little blocks. It has a Walt Disney minifigure, which I'm into. It also has a miniature version of a multi-plane camera, which was an invention by Walt Disney's credited with it. I don't know if somebody just at the company invented it, but it was how they were able to create depth in their animated films in the early animated motion pictures. So anyway, I got that. I have not built it, but I suspect it will probably find its way into the backdrop of all of the other crap around me at some point in the future.
That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Your family loves you so much.
They do. Yeah, I have to keep it that way somehow.
Well, you asked me before I interrupted you to tell me what you did this weekend. So Saturday, I went over to hung out with my friend Justin, coworker and friend Justin. He's the only other person out here that I like that knows punk rock like I do, and more than me. Admittedly, I'm very much a poser. I love punk, but I just don't know a lot of it. Like if you ask me about like 70s and 80s, like smooth jazz and yacht rock, I'll be like, all right, check this out. This bassist was featured on Michael McDonald's Keep Forgetting. He's from the Brothers Johnson. They call him Thunder Thumbs Johnson. He's great, right? But if you ask me like Adolescence and The Damned and like who's in the Suicidal Tendencies, and wait, was Lars, Matt, and Tim from Mop Ivy going to Rancid? Then that's when I start like I start.
You're out of your depth at that point.
I'm out of my depth.
Yeah.
I'm out of my depth.
I have a quick question because
Yeah.
you brought up yacht rock. Are you familiar with a yacht rock cover band by the name of Yachtly Crew?
I'm not, but I'm familiar with one called Yachty by Nature.
Okay. Yachtly Crew is coming to OKC this summer. I got a targeted ad on social media. I am very much considering going to this concert.
You should, man.
It's like my yacht rock playlist live. It's great.
Look, yacht rock rocks. It's in the name.
It's in the name.
Yacht
It's in the name.
rocks. So all right. So this No Values tour. This is it's not a tour. It was just a festival. It's a one show festival in Pomona, California, over at the Pomona Fairplex. Which, if you know nothing about the Pomona Fairplex, it's just a wide open space in the middle of the sun, where they do racing and swap meets sometimes. But it was an all-day event from 11 o'clock to 11 p.m. at night, and just a bunch of old school punk bands. So I mentioned the Adolescents, the Damned, the Misfits played, Iggy Pop and the Stooges, Suicidal Tendencies, as I'd mentioned before, and some other bands too. Some newer bands like the Aquabats, I think they're not an old school punk band. They're Yo Gabba Gabba and the mid '90s ska, and they were so much fun to see. Just I'm like, there they are. Oh, they played Pool Party. Got a cool pool party. And they're just like so much energy. And I saw them in like my grad night. Well, not my grad night. The graduating class before me. I didn't go to my grad night. I went to their grad night for some reason. And the Aquabats were playing, so like that took me back so far. Seeing Bad Religion, they always kick ass, they always rock. Just such a great band.
Where was the grad night that you saw the Aquabats at?
Disneyland. It was at Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah.
In
90,
so if it wasn't
99.
it would have been, yeah, I was gonna say if it wasn't your grad night, then yeah. Wow.
Which is, thinking about that is really weird, like, because I always liked the Aquabats, and I always like these guys are popular. Wait, why are they playing at a high school grad night in Southern California?
It's weird because like we're both from Southern California. Grad night is at Disneyland. Like that is like the spot to do grad night. But for like the majority of the country, that's not a normal thing. Like it's in my head, it's just like, yeah, grad night at Disneyland. After you graduate from high school, you go and spend all night at Disneyland. That's what you do. And people are in like, Western Iowa are like, what?
We go to the toast the toast museum.
Yeah. We got a lock-in at the Civic Center.
We're gonna make our own cheese for grad night. Folks from Wisconsin, look, we know that cheese isn't the only thing that you have.
Yeah.
Cheese and toast is not the only two exports you have. Anyway. Yeah, no, that is weird to think about it. My younger brother, his was at Magic Mountain, which seems more, par for the course for like, if you're in Texas or any other place where there's a Six Flags.
I'm sure, like, there's theme parks all over the place, so I'm sure it's common to go to theme parks for grad nights.
Yeah.
Not the best theme park,
Right.
Which is,
like the local roller rink. But you have to pay for your rollerblade.
You gotta rent your skates.
Which is fun. I think I'd have a good time doing that. Anyway, so, wow, geez, I hit the mic. So the festival is really, really fun. The first half of the day was kind of overcast, which is great for me. And then eventually it got really sunny. So every time I peed, I reapplied my sunscreen in the bathroom to try to make sure that I survived. And we'll get into the sun thing here in a minute. But yeah, it was so much fun, man. The two best bands that we saw were Bad Religion is number one. They always put on such a good show. And then I'm wearing the hat of the second band that I really, really enjoyed, which is, we've talked about it before, but Viagra Boys. Now, I'm wearing this hat, and it's like a hunter's cap, and it's
like a woodland camo pattern
that says Viagra Boys on the front of it.
Like if you went to Bass Pro Shop, you could probably find the same hat with a Bass Pro Shop logo. Just replace Bass Pro Shop with white text that says Viagra Boys.
Oh no, it's not white. It's neon yellow.
Okay, yeah, I believe that. There's some color correction happening with the video.
And on the back there's their like little shrimp logo.
Okay, all right.
So I bought this hat over at the merch booth there at No Values, and also I bought our shirt from them too. So we didn't go in the pit for any of the bands that we watched.
Because you're over 40 and you have health insurance.
I'm over 40, have health insurance, and I'm also shorter than basically the average person. 5'8" maybe is the average, but I feel like I'm still shorter and scrawnier than most people. And so we didn't go in the pit for a lot of things. But Viagra Boys, like their songs are not they're not rough or anything like that. So I was like, oh, this would be safe. I want to go up front, right? Like I want to. And Justin was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay, cool. So we go up front, and it's so much fun, but also, yeah, I'm still small. I'm still not a big guy. So like I'm sore still today. Yeah, I took some video, and I'm like, oh God. Okay, let me put this away. I had this hat on. People were like, hey, that's a cool hat. Where'd you get it? I'm like, didn't you go to the merch booth? Okay, bye. And then so right away, crowd surfers knocked my hat off and like pushed it forward onto my face, and it almost fell off. And I'm like, I'm not losing this hat. So I took the hat and I tucked it in my crotch because that's the safest.
So it's a smart play.
And then I had also had like this Microsoft kind of like shoulder bag, and then I had bought a zip up hoodie for the No Values tour. And so I had it like wrapped around the strap to make sure I didn't lose it. Well, at some point in time during one of the songs, I felt down. I'm like, oh shit, the hoodie's gone. I'm like, oh no, oh that because merchandise is not cheap. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck. And so on the floor, my foot is like searching, searching for some kind of padded material, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is. So the song's going, and I'm like, oh, trying to keep my foot on the jacket the entire time. The song ended. The lights came on. I was like, bent down real quick, picked it up. Like, oh, thank goodness, thank goodness. And then the next song started right away, and I would have been dead. I would have if the song had started like 5 seconds earlier. So that was so much fun. They had such great energy, and I like to say that Viagra Boys are like the David Lynch of punk rock, because they are very very weird.
Yeah.
And then we finished off. Then we finished off with the Misfits, and we didn't watch the whole Misfits because by the end of Viagra Boys, we're like, him and I were both like, ugh, I'm so tired. Let's listen to one song. If it's a song we recognize, cool. We'll stay for more songs. But if not, we saw the Misfits with Danzig, and we can leave.
There you go.
They didn't play a song we knew. We were out of there. And, so drove straight home, and yeah, I'm still recovering from it. But that's why I have this Viagra Boys hat, because I'm telling you, it's one of my favorite hats. It fits right. The irony of it being like a woodland cap for me is
It's really funny to me because I've never known you really to be like a hats guy.
Mm-hmm.
And as of late, you're rocking hats.
I'm rocking hats. You know,
I was gonna say, like, nowadays the flat build hat is, you know, becoming more and more popular. I can't do it. I think my head is too oval shaped or something, or like I don't know, like I don't know that, or I just feel weird in one. But yeah. I used to wear hats all the time, and now it's like, I mean, obviously to cover up my skin so I get less skin cancer on my head, like that's a good reason to wear a hat. But
sure,
it's not like it's, you know, covering up my hair or anything. I don't know.
Well, so for me, I think that's where I'm enjoying hats more. Is I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to comb my hair sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just tuck it in underneath this. I'm like, okay, we're good to go. But I'll say this about the woodland camo hunting style, is I went to Lowe's on yesterday, which is Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like people talk to me differently.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because of the pattern or because it says Viagra Boys on it?
Probably a little bit of both. Probably a combination.
Little column A, little column B. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I probably won't wear this to work, but I mean,
How professional of you.
Yeah, that's I mean that. So I did that on Saturday, all day Saturday, and then Sunday I just like I crashed like all day long, man. I was just so tired. Chelsea and I watched Doctor Strangelove.
Or how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that movie holds up. I haven't
nothing like a little wartime satire.
What I haven't watched yet, and what I want to get into from next week. So I don't want to talk about it too much right now, but The Acolyte. I want to watch. I haven't watched any of the episodes yet, so I want to watch the episodes and then talk about it next week.
Yeah, new episode tomorrow night, as of this recording. So that should put us at 3 episodes. That should be a decent amount of, at least primer to get us to have a good conversation about The Acolyte. Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes already. But yeah, excited to talk about that next week.
Okay.
You talk about being tired, being exhausted all day Sunday. I felt like the drive, like that 11-hour drive, didn't affect me too much until the following day. Which, I get home, like I said, at midnight. That Saturday, I wake up, and I wake up early. Like, my family is on summer break time, right? being kids in school, they want to stay up later, they want to sleep in. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But I gotta work to pay these bills, so I gotta maintain a schedule. So I wake up at like, I don't know, like initially I woke up at 5 and I was like, no, we're not doing that. So I roll back over for a little bit, but I'm like out of bed by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Still hours ahead of other people in my house. And I like run some laundry, kind of putter around the house that I haven't been in weeks. And then my son wants to go play Lorcana at the weekly Lorcana League that I've not been at for like 5 weeks. And we're like, yeah, of course we're going to go play. And it's usually from like 2 to 6 is the times when we play. We're usually out of there by like 5 or so. But I get there, I trade some cards. I traded one of my enchanteds, the enchanted that I pulled.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna sell it. I was gonna sell it for money, but I instead got $5 and then like $70 worth or $170 worth of cards. Which was only 4 cards, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway, so then after I do all that trading, I'm like, I need to play some games here. So I sit down with a guy who's pretty good. He was at the challenge event in Atlanta as a competitor. Solid player, and I'm playing this guy, and by like the 4th or 5th game, I'm like starting to get a headache. I'm like starting to get like lightheaded. I'm hungry. I'm like, I think I might be exhausted right now. I think I. So, and it was a prize week. Every 4 weeks they give out prizes like pins and stuff like that. So we had to like stick around so that Caleb could get his prizes. I wasn't getting anything because I was gone the whole time. But yeah, going home I was like, I need to crash. Like, not crash my car, but like got home and just. So all of Sunday I was like, I'm just gonna veg out like as much as I can just to kind of rest and recover. But you, as we were texting, we're like, hey, I'm like, hey, what you doing? You're like, definitely not downloading Tabletop Simulator and getting a Lorcana mod for it, and definitely not testing that out. And I immediately got up from the couch where I'd been sitting for hours and rushed to my computer to seize the opportunity to get Brandon to play Lorcana for the first time.
Yeah, when I said that, I didn't see any reaction from you on Messenger, so I was like, oh, okay, he's just watching his Twitch stream of a tournament going on instead.
I was definitely doing that.
And then I was looked at Steam and I was like, oh, he sent me a message on Steam. He went straight from Messenger to Steam and it started hitting me up.
Well, when I got to my computer, the little pop-up said Brandon is playing Tabletop Simulator, so I just clicked on it and immediately sent you a message.
So yeah, I that was the first time I've actually played Lorcana, and like half of it was learning.
Bit of an exaggeration. I mean, I guess you kind of played Lorcana.
Yeah.
You were going through the motions. You were learning the steps.
Half of it was learning Tabletop Simulator, because every game that you play on Tabletop Simulator, like there's different mechanics and there's different buttons. So like part of it is like figuring out how to play the game on there.
Yeah.
And then the second part is, okay, well, how do I play Lorcana?
I felt fortunate that I had already downloaded it before and messed with it, even though I didn't have anybody to play with, so that I could learn some of the mechanics and stuff, so that when we were testing it out, I had a little bit of an idea, so I could be, oh, do this, move this, because I'd already kind of troubleshot some of that stuff.
That was good. Yeah.
It's really weird. Tabletop Simulator, I love the fact that it is essentially a simulation of real world like board game playing. What?
Huh?
Are you marking the time of when you froze?
Yeah. I saw when it switched too.
All right. Well, if you had 34 minutes, leave that comment so that we could. The problem is going to be someone's just going to leave a comment at 34 minutes, and then they're going to expect a pin. So that's fine. We'll send you one.
That's fine.
Send us your request.
That's fine. Steam. Well, it's because we're talking about Steam, and then Steam was like, oh, "You want to update right now?" I'm like,
you want to update right now?
No,
But yeah, so Tabletop Simulator is weird because it is very much like open to where you can kind of do anything. So whereas Pixelborn, that application that was designed for playing online Lorcana, it does a lot of work for you, right? Like when you're inking cards to build up your mana pool, sort of, or whatever, it just kind of goes into a thing and counts how much you have. You don't have to exert them. You don't have to do any of that stuff. When you play certain cards, it just automatically does effects for you sometimes. In Tabletop Simulator, it doesn't do any of that, right? Like you have to manually do a lot of those things, which is what you have to do when you're playing the game for real, which I think makes it feel a little bit more like a somewhat more authentic kind of experience, like when you're playing with actual paper. That was a criticism I heard quite a bit at the tournament I went to, because I heard some judges and they're like, yeah, so and so's not. I think they weren't like exerting their ink or something like that, and they're like, yeah, when Pixelborn just does it for you, and all you ever do is play on Pixelborn, people don't learn those skills. And I was like, no, that's a fair point. So
Yeah.
anyway, do you have any initial thoughts on the game from your one attempt with it?
Well, I mean, I'm not when I'm going to say something, and I'm not saying this to brag or build myself up, Travis.
Okay.
But you know that I'm pretty good at games.
I know you're great at games. I do. It's one of the reasons I would love for you to play this, because I'm not saying my son is not great at games. He is good at games. He's a good Lorcana player. And I do play with people on the weekends, but if there were other options for people to play with, who I knew were strategically minded, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it.
So, and so that's the thing, right? Is I don't have the cards. I don't have anybody to play with right now. Like this, I'll try it out, Tabletop Simulator, and like more than half of any game is understanding the mechanics and like the powers and the synergies and how things interact with each other, and like what are the good combination of cards to get after. So like Slay the Spire, right? Like you start realizing, okay, well, these cards don't really synergize with each other, so you don't want to, if you can help it, don't use these cards with each other, right? Like you probably win that way, but you don't want to. The same thing with like any board game, or we're talking about Wingspan. You're talking about even like with Catan, like like okay, if this is where I want to put my initial settlements, I know where somebody else might put their settlement. So if I'm the first one, that means I'll be the last one to place my initial settlement. Okay, what do I want to work towards?
Well, yeah, and then if you're savvy enough and you've played enough, you understand the strategies, maybe there were some locations in Catan where you wanted to put settlements and you didn't get all those, and so you have to make concessions, right? Mm-hmm. But then you're like, well, I can use this to do something else, and then your strategy adjusts based on the conditions of the game. And I think for me, that is definitely something with this trading card game that I appreciate, is you build your deck, you construct your deck based on the cards that you have, the cards that are available, the different things that you're trying to pull off, right? Things that you value. But as soon as you sit down across from an opponent, depending on the deck that they've built or the cards that they're presenting to you, suddenly your strategy can change dramatically. And so do you have a deck that tries to do the same thing every time, or do you have something that's flexible that can adjust for a variety of different scenarios?
And this game is much more strategic in that way. Same thing with Magic. You can simplify it, like even with like King of Tokyo. If you're buying a bunch of cards, right? Like that's why I kick Matt's ass more often than not, is because I'm like, okay, this is the card I'm going to buy because I know that this card gets after how I want to win this game, which is I want to win by victory points, and so I know he's going to try to kill me. So I'm also going to get cards that are hearts. I'm trying to survive too.
Yeah.
If I just survive long enough, I'm going to win just by victory points. And then other times I'm like, well, I'm going to kick his ass. So I'm going to
Well,
work towards
this
that.
card's available, and I've been rolling this, and the
Yeah.
situation has changed. I'm going to adjust my strategy.
And part of that too is my knowledge of the game mechanics. I know, and Matt has, to his credit, adapted because he's seen the strategies that I use, and he's adopted those strategies to help win more. He's like, okay, Brandon's buying this card, which means he's going to buy this card, which means he's trying to roll this, which means he's trying to do this. And he's taking that on, which makes me then be like, okay, Matt's doing my thing. How do I counter what my strategy was before?
Yeah.
And so, to that level, when we're talking about Lorcana now, like the deck that I had imported, because you can, if you're playing Tabletop Simulator, you can import decks from any of these random Lorcana websites, like a couple different websites. And so people have their like really like overpowered decks and whatever. The deck I picked was an overpowered deck. It was like it should have been.
Your deck was pretty standard in the meta right now in terms of like green steel is very common right now because of some of the cards that have come out recently that really give that deck a huge boost. Yeah.
My card was my deck was worth $736.
All right. Good for you.
That's how I was like, I guess it's an expensive ass deck. I guess I'll do this. And if I had known how to play the deck, I like if I'd played for any amount of time in Lorcana other than this first game, probably would have done way better. But just like Magic, it has abilities on there that if you know what those cards do and you know how to synergize those cards, you know how to play them, when to play them, then you'll be really good.
Yeah.
But half of that is knowing what the mechanics are and, just experiencing the game and practicing the game and playing against people who know what they're doing. And that's how I know I would get better at it, but I'm just not there yet.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, it would take time. It would take time, which is why we should play way more often. Yeah, I do think it'd be good if you like. I'm not gonna go so far as to tell you to watch YouTube videos of people playing, but if you go to that Dreamborn site that I told you about, when people build different decks, they can link a YouTube video to the deck. So some of them have YouTube videos about the decks, which might be beneficial if you're clicking around looking at different. You could like see like what kind of strategy they're building the deck for, so that kind of gives you a leg up to know what cards to look for and what things to play off of. But yeah, anyway, that's enough Lorcana talk for this week. Come back next week where we talk about Acolyte and even more Lorcana.
And more Lorcana. So earlier I talked a little bit about the sun. Right?
Yeah.
Talked about being the Pomona, being in the sun. Well, for those who don't know, I have a very rare blood disorder called erythropoietic protoporphyria. And we talked about it on the show before, but let's just say it again. Which is, it's a blood disorder. I produce too much of a certain enzyme called porphyrins, and those porphyrins react with the UV rays of the sun, which make my skin burn in ways that a normal sunburn doesn't make my skin burn. Essentially, it feels like my blood is boiling in a certain sense for exposed skin. So, like my hand, for example. For a long time, there was no way to treat it because it's a genetic disorder. A couple years back, they released a drug where it's like an implant, and the implant, what it does is like it convinces your body
to nanobots into your bloodstream, correct?
yeah, and then you infiltrate the Kremlin.
There's
and
a
so
secret word that turns you into an assassin.
Go gadget. Sunscreen. And in a sense, it is go-go gadget sunscreen because it convinces your body to produce more melanin, and make you tan. Well, so there is now a drug that they're testing out, which is an oral version of it rather than inject it like a IUD.
Okay.
It's oral. So I got invited to do a drug study for this. So what it is, it's going to be a double-blind drug study. Half of us are going to get a placebo. The other half are going to get the actual drug. And then at the end of 12 weeks, everyone will get the drug and do it for another, take it for another like 46 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
But for the first 4 weeks, at least 14 days, we get screened. And what this involves is I have an app on my phone. I have to go out into the sun, subject myself to the sun for like as long as I can manage before I start to feel some kind of effect or pain or
I have
something.
to go outside until I can feel something.
And then record it and put it in this app. So I've been doing that, and my skin is not feeling great. After a week, I'm like, I don't want to go out in the sun again, but
You're
I
like
have
that
to do
dang
it 'cause
placebo.
I want this. I want this drug. I'll take the placebo. I don't care, because I want it at the end of 12 weeks at the very least. So, but I'm doing that because like I love being outside. I want to be outside. I want to have fun. I want to go to the beach, and it just sucks when I'm like, hey guys, can we? I'm gonna go hang out in the shade. Like when we went to Comic-Con, I feel
Yeah.
like such a negative or whiny Nancy when I'm like, hey Travis, I need to find shade. I can't
Yeah.
do this. I can't do this interview
Which,
in the
like,
summer.
I know this is a thing that you have. Like, so when we were hanging out last year and we were out at, Adult Swim Fest on the green and, exposed to sun, you're like, we need to go find somewhere. I'm like, yep, okay, that's fine. Like, but yeah, hopefully, like, this is a thing that will start working for you, and or is effective in
Yeah.
mitigating that. I didn't realize I was prescribed a medication a while back for my eosinophilic esophagitis. What's
Hmm.
with us having really cool named afflictions? But mine was a once a week injection that I had to do myself, and I didn't realize that like I was sort of in the front end of this being tried for
Oh.
that disease. Like it was before that and you see it advertised on TV like Dupixent for like asthma relief, and I think some sort of skin relief or something like that. But they prescribed it to me for like esophagus stuff, and it totally
Hmm.
cleared up. Like it's gone. Like I don't
Really?
have that. I do have to like go do a follow up and see if it's come back because I've stopped taking the medication now. So we'll see. We'll see if it's like if it cured me in a series of doses, or if it has to be continually taken to manage it. But yeah, it's kind of cool to like, I don't know. I think it's cool to do that kind of stuff and be able to get better. I
Yeah.
know not everybody feels that way about lightly tested medications. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I again, I want to be outside. I want to hang out outside. I want to go fishing. I want to go snowboarding or like jet skiing out on the lake all
yeah,
day long. Sit on a boat all day long. I want to do those things, but I equally know that if I do them right now, I have to wear long sleeves, and if it's hot outside, I'm gonna be sweating the entire time. I'm gonna have to be like keep reapplying sunscreen. I'm gonna have to keep being like, "Hey guys, I'm not really feeling that well." Like, "Oh, okay, Brandon. Oh,
I'm
and
gonna go
no,
sit under this towel for the next hour and a half.
and all my all my friends obviously like understand it.
Yeah,
They're empathetic towards it, but you still feel bad. You still feel like you're a burden in some way, shape, or form. So
yeah,
I uh I look forward to the day that I can be like, let's go to let's go to Death Valley and walk across the desert without any clothes on, but shoes and socks.
Don't sign me up for that, Brandon.
No.
I'm gonna pass.
You and I,
We're-
you and I, we're you and I are walking naked except for shoes and socks across across the desert.
Across the hottest desert in North America. Yeah.
And we're not shaving in our pubes. We're because
we're not
we don't
we're
want
not leveraging that Manscaped promotional thing that we have.
because like here's what I feel like. My face feels fine from being in the sun in Pomona all day because I've got nature's sunscreen, which is hair. Same thing for our balls and our butt cracks, right? Okay, you can wear a hat in the desert,
Okay, thanks, Brandon.
Mr. Bald Man. I'm talking about my face though.
Yeah,
You know,
I'll grow a beard.
yeah.
We gotta wait a few years. to do
Nature's sunblock.
Nature's
Truly care.
sunblock. Well, I hope that works out for you, Brandon. I hope everything goes very well. And I look forward to our trip to the desert.
Burning Man, literally.
Burning Man. The only other thing I had to talk about was some Apple news. We're taking it back to our early AE days. Apple has their Worldwide Developers Conference going on right now. They had a keynote where they introduced a bunch of new features coming to iOS. And as is much discussed in the past on this podcast, they have finally introduced new AI features into iOS. They're calling it Apple Intelligence instead of artificial intelligence, because everything has to be Apple branded, right? A few notable things. Siri is getting a lot smarter. Siri is going to be able to do more contextual type things where you basically just tell it to do something. Hey, go find that picture that my wife sent me last week, and it can go and find those sorts of things for you. But I want to talk about the new AI emojis that are going to become available. So now, much like in other AI platforms where you can create images from a set of prompts, you're going to be able to, on your iPhone, create emojis based on a set of prompts. So I think one of the examples they gave was like a dinosaur on a surfboard or something like that. And it creates like a little image of that. It'll give you multiple options. And then you can either send that as like a sticker to someone or inline as an emoji, which just seems like the best use of technology. It's really the advancements in technology that we've come to expect. But it's smart enough to where the AI is going to know who the people are that you interact with the most, and there's going to be able to identify those individuals in your camera roll. So it's going to know what these people look like. So then if you want to be like, create an emoji of Sheena juggling hamsters, it will create an emoji of that person, like that looks like that person. So we can start sending Brandon and Travis emojis to each other potentially in the near future.
I can't wait.
With your little Viagra Boys hat on.
You can't wait. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Matt and I like to send our Facebook Messenger Meta AI pictures to each other.
Why was yours in a wheelchair earlier?
I don't know. I don't know what my sticker has. A wheelchair emoji. I don't know why. You probably have it too.
I probably do. Yeah.
Because Facebook isn't ableist. They understand
Sure.
the importance of representation.
Yeah. The one other feature that was really interesting is they're like, big news. We're adding calculator to the iPad because apparently iPad hasn't had calculator as an app for a really long time, like since its inception, which I didn't think was a thing. But they're adding calculator. Anyway, they're doing, along with calculator and the Apple Pencil, you just hit your face on your microphone.
No, that bill. What?
is math notes. So you can like write out math in these math notes. And then anytime, so if you put like 5 plus 5 and then you write an equal sign, it will just put the number 10 after the equal sign and make it look like your handwriting. But you can
Will it do that? Will it do it for like algebraic equations?
Yes. You can write like x equals and a number, and then like y equals and a number, and then write out an algebraic equation, and it will give you the answer. You can then go up and change the value of x, and it will change the answer in the equation based on the value that you set for the.
Tell you what, Chelsea would have loved that for chemistry.
Well, yeah, it's coming. It's coming in the next version of
She
iOS.
passed it already. She got an A.
Oh,
You know, she doesn't need technology. Too
true.
smart, that
Too
bitch.
smart. Too smart. So go buy all the Apple
That's cool.
products. They're gonna take over the world. So, all right, that's it. That's pretty much the whole episode. Unless Brandon, you have anything else? Any parting thoughts that you want to leave us with for this week?
I guess the last thought is so my kid and I last night, summer vacation.
You know how it is.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from Viagra Boys and the no values stuff.
If you take that one phrase out of context, it's like I'm exhausted from the Viagra Boys.
But it's true. That's true.
Where's the lie?
But last night he's on summer vacation, and it's like 9:30. I finished playing some drums, and he's like, "You want to play some games?" I'm like, about to go to bed, but I'll play some Rock Band if you want. He's like, "Okay." So from 9:45 to around 12:30, we played Rock Band.
Oh my!
So let me tell you, I was a little tired this morning,
I
but
bet.
cats in the cradle. If you don't spend time with your kids when they want to spend time with you, someday they're not going to want to spend that time with you. So just knock it out. Just knock it
There
out.
you go. Words to live by. Words to live by. If your kids want to play Rock Band, just make it happen.
Play Rock
Yeah.
Band, you
Play
scrubs.
Lorcana with your kids. Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right,
Travis,
good times.
thanks for your time. Thanks
Yeah,
for your time.
Thank you. If your friend wants to
thank
podcast with you, just do it. Spend the time with them. You never
Just
know.
do it.
Never
Cats
know
in the
what's gonna
cradle.
All right, that's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with the topics that we said we were going to discuss. Thank you for watching this episode. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Leave a review if you're new here. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.